starting up now on this rear leg. You can see the ball joint that I was showing you in the video last night. And so there's a bone that's from here to here. And what I like to do is just try to get all these muscle groups off. Pretty much just kind of peel out that bone. So I'm cutting down to the surface of the bone and just kind of going along that bone. And right above this joint, I cut in, and down here, cut in all the way to the bone, all the way around. So now if I fold that back, you can see that bone laying in there. And I just cut along the bone. Like that. So now this is at all those muscle groups. And so I'll show you in a bit how to cut that up into roasts and steaks. So I'm going to put that off to the side for a little bit. Come back, and the rest of this is hamburger meat. So this is a convenient handle. Come in here, cut off down to where the tendon ends. Come in just a few inches where these tendons end. And same kind of thing as I did on the front leg. You just peel that meat off away from you while you're holding it up. There's a little contour in the bone right here, so it works good to come in like this. And then just kind of whittle at this remaining little chunks of meat. It all adds up so you get more of a harvest. What's nice about this method is you don't have to dirty up a saw. You don't have to take it to a butcher. All you need is a knife and a cutting board. And I just use fillet knives that you buy for filleting fish and things. Alright, that's about all the meat that's left on that. So I'll cut this into grindable chunks real fast. That'll all fit. Alright, here's all those muscle groups that I just took off the bone. What I like to do is just kind of pull them back, and you can just see they start to just kind of separate as you peel this back. So I cut out the muscle groups first. That's just hamburger right there. And sometimes it gets kind of confusing, and if you can't tell if you want to just make hamburger out of it or if you want to try to make a roast or some steaks out of it, what you can do when you get to this kind of oddball chunk up here, this one, is if you come to the side, that's really not going to make anything good other than hamburger. So you cut down into it. When you cut down into it and look at it, then you can kind of see the consistency of this meat. So it looks like right there, if I cut here, I'd still get a good chunk of roast or steaks out of that spot. And this piece is not really worth anything for roast or steaks. I'll just cut it real quick for hamburger. one more muscle group to separate here. So the next thing I'll do is go and I'm going to kind of clean off all of these, because your wife is going to like the meat to look like it came from the grocery store. So kind of trim off the excess fat. If you happen to have any blood or anything dirty on there, just kind of clean this up and just think about what the steaks look like at the store. Alright, that one I'm just going to call that a roast. I'm going to peel the fat off of this. I'll make some steaks out of this one. So that'll slice up into some nice little steaks. And so that's just a pretty simple process, and I like to go about 1 inch. Slice. And figure out how many people you're feeding with this meal when you pull it out of the freezer, and that's the number of steaks or chunks of meat you want to use. And then I start just making little piles of these steaks. Here on the back, a little bit bloody, I'm going to clean that up. Grind the... There's a little hair, a little bit of dirt there. So I'm going to toss that. Here's where a good fillet knife works out well, because if it's sharp enough, you can just kind of skin this meat. And it's mostly aesthetic, really. I mean, clean it up real nice like that. This top chunk can just be turned into hamburger. And then square it up. And then if you're going to cut steaks, you kind of want to look and see how the grain is. And you want to cut to where your grain of meat is like that. So you're basically perpendicular to how that meat grain is going. Probably get one more little one out of this. So that'll make some nice venison steak right there. Put that in my steak pile. This one, it's really not good enough for anything but hamburger. I'm just going to cube that up. We did an elk the other day, and the muscle groups are just huge on that, so you get a ton of options for steaks and roasts and cubed meat out of an elk. Okay, I'll clean this off a little bit. I like my meat really, really lean. And also, the last couple years, I have not been adding any like pork or beef or anything to either deer, elk, or antelope. And using this method that I've been showing you in these videos, everything has tasted outstanding. And then it's super lean. So I'm squaring it up now. That will make some really good steaks. The grain's this way. I'm going to cut here. So there's another pile of steaks. And for some reason, the little wasps like to come out here when you're doing this, and they never sting you. They just like the smell of that meat. So that one's going to be a roast. I'll vacuum seal that all by itself.